Hi guys, it's Legionero. Welcome back to my channel, and I would like to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Today we have another tutorial for you guys. So today I'm showing you how to make this zippered tote bag. Right? This tote bag has the straps on the outside as well as a zip closure. Has a lining. And this lining, I added a zipper pocket to it. Right. And I'm using, again, my Quick Sew 3597 pattern. If you don't have that pattern, you can use any tote bag pattern because you're only using 3 pieces to make this bag. You're using the main piece, the handle piece, and the pocket piece. All right. If you don't have a tote bag pattern, I will make sure that I place measurements for you in the description box below for all pieces. And the seam allowance that we're using for this pattern is 1/2 inch. All right. So here's another look at the tote bag. Hopefully you can see it well. All right. All of the tools that you're going to need to make this will be listed in the description box below, as well as I'll place a slide in the next clip so you can see all of the tools you're going to need to make this zippered tote bag. So let's get started. So with this particular bag, I am using my Quick Sew tote bag pattern again, and I'm only using 3 pieces from it. This is the main piece that you'll cut your main fabric and your lining. This is my handle piece where you'll cut 2 of your main fabric. And then this is the pocket piece. You'll cut 2 of your lining fabric. I'm using a faux leather for my main fabric, so I'm not going to need any interfacing. For my main fabric, I'm actually not going to need any for my lining either because I'm using a canvas fabric for my lining. However, if you're using a cotton cloth for your main bag, you want to make sure you back it with fusible fleece, and your handles and your lining and your pockets, you want to make sure that you use a woven interfacing to make your fabric a little bit more sturdy. All right, but again, I'm using faux leather, so I won't need any of those things. So those are the 3 pattern pieces I'm using. You can use any tote bag pattern. You just need those 3 pieces: the main piece, the handle piece, and the pocket piece. But if you don't have a tote bag pattern, I will put the measurements in the description box below for each piece. For my main fabric, I'm using this red faux leather gaiter that I got from fabric.com. I'm also using it for my handles. And for my lining, I'm using this black and white canvas fabric that I got from Hobby Lobby. And I've already added my pocket. I added a zipper pocket. You can add a zipper pocket or a slip pocket. If you don't know how to do those, I will place videos in the description box below showing you how to do it. And I have my zipper. I didn't have a black or red zipper that was long enough, so I had to shorten a zipper. Now, if you ever have to shorten a zipper, make sure your zipper pull is out of the way, because if you cut this and your zipper pull was on the other side, you just cut off your your zipper pull. I mean, you can put it back on, but that's way too much of a hassle. All right. And you will need at least a 14-inch zipper. All right. All right. Since I'm using faux leather for my handle, what I did, this handle is cut 4 inches. Well, it's cut by the pattern piece. But I made sure mine was 4 inches wide, and however long your handle piece is. So I went ahead and I used my fabric marker and I marked the center. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some double-sided tape. And I'm going to put this double-sided tape on top of that line that I made So this little tool here is called a brayer, and I got it from Hobby Lobby, and I got it from out of the paint tool section, I believe. And I'm just going to roll this across my double-sided tape to kind of help it stick a little bit, so it'll be easier when I get ready to pull up the backing, hopefully. Alright, pull up that backing. And now I still have my mark here in the center. I'm just going to fold one end to the mark. And I wish I had a little bit wider double-sided tape, but that's all I had in my stash. So it's fine, it'll do. Right. Then I'm going to fold the other side. And this is just to hold everything in place while I sew. It makes it a lot easier. And this is just to hold everything in place while I sew. Alright. Now I'm going to flip both sides together. I'm going to use some Wonder clips. I'm going to do my other strap the same way. Then I'm going to take them both to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew down both edges. Alright, now that you have your straps done, now we're going to add our straps to our main bag. So what you want to do, you want to measure down. Well, first of all, I don't know if you can see this or not, but on my pattern piece, it told me where to put my handles. So I marked that here. So first thing you want to do is find out where your handles are supposed to go on your bag, on your tote bag. If you don't have a tote bag, you measure in 4 inches. And at that 4 inches is where you'll place your strap. Alright? That's if you don't have a tote bag pattern. So once you have marked where you are supposed to put your strap, you place your strap there, but come down 2 inches. Alright? So when you come down 2 inches on your strap, measure up 1 inch, and that's where you're going to sew your square to sew your strap in place. Since I'm using faux leather, mine is too thick to sew on the machine that I'm using. So I finally used my cutting die on my rivet press, and I added rivets to mine. I haven't done this one yet, but I'll show you the other one. So find out where the markings on your strap go. When you find that, you measure down 2 inches, right? And the end of your strap is at that 2-inch mark. Measure up 1 inch and then sew a square, and then you can also sew an X if you want to, just for that extra security to secure your strap in place. All right, so let me show you the one with my rivets. All right, so if you decide to use rivets, if you're using a faux leather, that's what it looks like once I added my rivets. And this is also very thick. I could probably use Chicago screws as well if you don't have rivets. Right? So go ahead and sew your strap or add your rivets or Chicago screws, whatever you're going to add, and then we can come back and put together our bag. Alright, now that you have your straps done, now we're going to add our straps to our main bag. So what you want to do, you want to measure down. Well, first of all, I don't know if you can see this or not, but on my pattern piece, it told me where to put my handles. So I marked that here. So first thing you want to do is find out where your handles are supposed to go on your bag, on your tote bag. If you don't have a tote bag, you measure in 4 inches. And at that 4 inches is where you'll place your strap. All right. That's if you don't have a tote bag pattern. So once you have marked where you are supposed to put your strap, you place your strap there, but come down 2 inches. All right. So when you come down 2 inches on your strap, measure up 1 inch, and that's where you're going to sew your square to sew your strap in place. Since I'm using faux leather, mine is too thick to sew on the machine that I'm using. So I finally used my cutting die on my rivet press, and I added rivets to mine. I haven't done this one yet, but I'll show you the other one. So find out where the markings on your strap go. When you find that, you measure down 2 inches, right? And the end of your strap is at that 2-inch mark. Measure up 1 inch and then sew a square, and then you can also sew an X if you want to, just for that extra security to secure your strap in place. All right, so let me show you the one with my rivets. All right, so if you decide to use rivets, if you're using a faux leather, that's what it looks like once I added my rivets. And this is also very thick. I could probably use Chicago screws as well if you don't have rivets. Right? So go ahead and sew your strap or add your rivets or Chicago screws, whatever you're going to add. And then we can come back and put together our bag. All right, now that we have our straps on both of our main pieces, take one of your main pieces, one of your lining pieces, and your zipper. And what you need to do is fold back your straps so they're out of the way. Mine is going to make this a little difficult for me, but I'll get it done. Take your zipper and with your zipper pull facing the right side of your fabric. Alright, so what I did, I went ahead and put my clips. So now I'm going to take my lining fabric and I'm going to place it on top. Alright, and I'm just going to add the clips to the lining. Alright. Now, if you don't want to run into what I'm running to with your straps so close, it still will sew up fine. Instead of measuring down 2 inches for your strap, measure down 2.5 inches. Or 2.25 to 2.5 inches. That'll give you a little bit more wiggle room with these straps when you are adding your zipper and your lining. But with the 2 inches, it'll still sew up fine. You'll just have to do a little bit of maneuvering like I'm doing. Once you have everything clipped or pinned in place, take it to the sewing machine. You're going to sew down this edge, right? And this will sandwich your zipper in between. Okay, now that you have one side sewn to your zipper, go ahead and open it up, right? And then you're going to take your lining and you're going to place it with the wrong side spacing, right? And what we're going to do now, we're going to take it back to the sewing machine and we're going to top stitch down that side, and then we'll come back and add the other main piece and the other lining piece to the other side of your zipper. Alright, so let's add our other main piece and our other lining piece to the other side of the zipper. You're going to do it just like before. Fold back your main piece. You're placing your two main pieces with right sides facing. And again, this may take a little bit of maneuvering if you're using faux leather like me. If you're using a cotton cloth, it may not be too strenuous to put this together. It's just that my straps are so thick. But I promise you'll love the end result. So I'm just taking my wonder clips again, just clipping the main in place. Then I'm going to flip it over and then add the lining. Alright, so I'm going to flip this over and we'll add our lining. So your linings are now right sides facing. Just go ahead and add your lining to the other side of the zipper and clip it just like I'm doing. And once you have it all clipped, your zipper is sandwiched in between the lining and your main fabric, just like before. Take your time if you need to. There's no rush. You just want to make sure you get it on securely. Alright, so now let's take this to the sewing machine. You're going to sew down this edge, again sandwiching the zipper in between. Alright, now that we have both main pieces and both linings attached to our zipper, alright, go ahead and unzip your zipper. This part, if you watched any of my videos, this part should be super familiar to you. Alright, so unzip your zipper. Make sure it's zipped far enough for you to turn it to the right side. You're going to place your right sides together of your main fabric and the right sides together of your lining fabric. So main fabric, lining fabric, they're both right sides facing. And you're going to pin or clip all the way around. In the corners, make sure your seam allowance is going towards your lining fabric. I like to start there and line up my corners really nice and neat. Alright. You are going to leave an opening in your lining. You can leave an opening in the bottom. You can leave an opening in one of your sides. When I'm doing a tote bag, I like to leave the opening in the side instead of the bottom. So I'm going to leave a pretty big opening, about 6 inches, because this is it's a big bag and it's faux leather. And sometimes trying to turn faux leather when you're birthing the bag, it just gives you a hard time. So I'm going to leave a large opening in one of my sides. But like I said, make sure you leave an opening in one of your sides or in the bottom of your bag. So you can turn it to the right side. With your main pieces, you're going to sew down both sides and across the bottom. You're not leaving any openings in your main fabric. Alright, so you're going to sew all the way around, making sure you leave an opening in your lining. And if you are familiar with doing your gussets, which is this part here, go ahead and do your gussets while you're at the sewing machine. But if not, I'll come back and show you an example of how I do one of them. Alright, you have everything sewn together. And you should have left an opening in your lining. So now, if you don't know how to do your gussets, place your hands on the inside of your bag. You can use the opening you left in the lining or your zipper. I'm using the opening that I left. And you want to take your 2 seam allowances and make sure that they match, or are lined up properly, I should say. And take a pin or a clip, right? Make sure they're lined up properly. Take a pin or clip them in place, and you're going to sew across. And you're going to do that for all 4. So you have 2 for your lining, and you have 2 for your main bag. Alright, now that you have your gusset sewn, using the opening that you left in the lining, go ahead and turn your bag to the right side. You should have unzipped your zipper. Poke out your corners. If you have a point turner, some people use a pin, some people use their scissors. Just make sure that you don't poke a hole in your fabric if you use your scissors. I just use my fingers, they work just fine. I like the corner there with the zipper tab. If you don't know how to do a zipper tab, I will place that video in the description box below. Oh, that's perfect. I'm always weary of doing zipper tabs with faux leather. I'm always scared it won't come out right. Alright, now that you have everything turned to the right side, go ahead and close up the opening that you left in your lining. I'm just going to tuck in that seam allowance and sew really close to that edge. And then I'm going to place my lining on the inside of my bag. Alright, so now I'm going to tuck my lining on the inside of my bag. Make sure everything is nice and neat. And you can go ahead and zip up your bag. And now you have a tote bag with a zipper at the top. Alright. There's so many things you can do with this. You can add a zipper pocket to the outside of your bag. You can add a pocket to the outside of your bag. I think I will do a tutorial doing all of those things. Adding a zipper pocket on the outside. Different types of straps. I think I'm going to be using this quick sew pattern for the base of a lot of the tutorials that are going to be on the channel. But if you don't have that quick sew pattern, you can use any tote bag pattern. And if not, I will make sure that I place the measurements in the description box below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I post a new video. I post videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video.